Hello, this is James Benge. Welcome to the Qué Golazo podcast. Stay tuned for my interview with Michail, where we talk about West Ham, the Europa League, and the time he nearly managed to Eggyboff his manager. A busy one ahead as well, I guess, with the Europa League on the horizon and things like that. It must feel relentless at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, over the last couple of weeks, it's been constant, to be fair, game every 3 days, but that's what you get when you get into Europa League. And it was something that we wanted from last season. So be able to achieve it, it's been quality. And to get so far in it as well, it's been amazing. So hopefully we can keep going and keep getting further in it.
I mean, talk to me about the atmosphere at the London Stadium in particular. I was there for the Sevilla game, and I have to say, you know, I get to go, lucky to go to a lot of games. Best atmosphere I've experienced all season, if not more. It was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was probably, I've said it before, it's probably the best it's ever been since I've been at the club. Only game I would say was better than that I would have to say the last game at the Bowling Ground.
Yeah.
Only game that I could say is probably better than that. So the atmosphere, the fans were amazing. And even in the last game, it seems like it's something about the European nights where the fans are just amazing. So hopefully with the 3,000 that come to Lyon this season can hopefully bring what they can for us.
And I mean, the energy and the boost that you must get from playing and then playing so well against, I guess, teams that are major sort of big names in European football in the Europa League. I mean, you're talking Lyon, probably one of the best teams in France, the ultimate Europa League team in Sevilla. What does that do for the atmosphere of West Ham, the way you guys feel as players when you take on these big names, these big teams, and show that you're as good as them or better than them?
Yeah, it's just basically, with this one thing we've always had as since the gaffer's been here, we've always had that self-belief. We always believe that we can beat anybody, and we've shown it this season how we've been playing. Doesn't matter who we play, we're going to go out there and we're going to try stamp ourselves on the game. And we've shown it against Seville, obviously one of the best teams. I think the first English team to ever beat Seville. So that's a record on its own. The next thing is also Lyon, quality team in France, always in and around the Europa. So these are established teams in Europe, and we're quite new to it. So us doing so well and being able to do what we've done so far, it's just been amazing.
What did you learn about yourselves as a team down to 10 men after the Crest got sent off, let's say, questionably? What did you learn from the way you kind of went about the game there? And what will it tell you about the second leg coming up?
It shows the resilience that we've always shown. It shows that it doesn't matter if we lose a player, we're still going to be resilient. We can dig deep and drive and keep pushing ourselves. And we're able to be a 10-man against a quality team like Lyon and manage to score a goal and hold out for basically, 50 minutes of a game. It shows the quality that we have, and with 11 men, it shows that we can win the game.
Has this actually? I'll stay on the Lyon game before I ask that question. Is it more challenging not having your fans there for the second leg? Is that kind of how you would prefer it? Because, you know, going back to that atmosphere, but just it did seem like you had a 12th, or 13th, or 14th player on the pitch just from your fans. Is it going to be tougher doing that away from home? Yeah,
definitely. Whenever you go into these draws, you always want to have the second leg at home, so the game ends there. For all reasons, if it goes extra time, you're at home, so still got your fans behind you. Everything, it is better, but it doesn't take away that you have to win the game at the end of the day. So going away, we've got to still be professional and do the job.
I know that there is, as you say, there is a real job to do beforehand, and it's certainly not guaranteed in the other leg as well. But I think from the moment that Barcelona dropped out of the Champions League, I don't know why, but maybe you saw this on social media as well. I think everyone was dreaming of a West Ham against Barcelona game. I don't particularly know what it was about it. I guess you guys were the same. And I mean, you have to stay focused on the task, don't you? But you must also, a little bit of you must have thought maybe at the very start of the knockout stages, imagine if we're in the new camp against Barcelona.
I didn't want to play Barcelona until the final, I'm going to be honest. Like, it's one of those things where I want to get to the final, I want to win it, and if we can do it as easiest way as possible, then I would have won it that way. But obviously, Barcelona being there, Barcelona being the next step, if they beat Frankfurt, because they drew 1-1.
Yeah.
So if they do it and we get to go to the new camp, it's amazing, because it's every boy's dream to be playing in those type of stadiums. So it would be quality. And the way we're playing right now, the way we've been in the Europa League anyway, the resilience that we've shown, the quality that we've shown, we believe that we can beat anybody. And
you've given your fans some fantastic trips as well. I was looking at like your itinerary: Zagreb, Lyon, Sevilla. You're treating your fans well.
Yeah, some good destinations. So
I guess you don't get to see the cities often, do you? You don't get to see much of the city. I bet you wish you could.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we don't really get the time because we've got a game Sunday, then we've got a game on Thursday. So we fly out on the Wednesday to play the game on the Thursday. So we don't really have the time to go see the city. And then once the game's over, we've got to get prepared for the game on the Wed Sunday again. So yeah, we don't get the opportunity to see the city, but we're enjoying it, and we're enjoying the time that we're doing.
Maybe you can see a bit of Seville for the final. Has this run changed the club, whether it's the expectations from you as players and the fans and just the way you perceive yourself? Because it's interesting hearing your manager talk about, we have to keep this going. We have to be a European team year in, year out. Do you feel like being in the Europa League and doing so well has maybe just pushed those expectations that you all have a little bit higher?
European football is it's a step forward. European football is what everyone's looking to achieve. So yeah, we have stepped up. We have basically lifted our expectations, because before we were always in and around the relegation. We to be fair, as a team, for the 7 years I've been here, we've never really thought about relegation. We always thought looking up and try and finish as high as at the table as possible. But European football was something that we always looked at, but it was difficult for us to reach. But now we're in and around it, and we still are in and around it, and we keep pushing it, and we're doing well in it while we're doing it. So yeah, we have grown our expectations, and we're hoping that we could do it for years to come.
We spoke to Pablo before the Sevilla games. He seems so excited, and he feels this buzz around a group of players, and was telling us it's kind of like nothing he'd experienced before in his career. Is that a view that you share? Yeah, definitely. The camaraderie that we have here, the buzz that we have, the boys that we've all come together, it's been amazing. And we're enjoying every moment of it, and we're hoping that it doesn't stop. I mean, you mentioned the camaraderie. It seems like there's a specific bond that isn't just about footballers that enjoy playing football together, but actually, this is a tight-knit group of friends. Is that a fair description? Yeah, definitely. Everyone speaks to everyone. Everyone gets along with everyone. It is quality, especially because there's so many different cultures. There's so many different language barriers here. But the fact that we all get together, we all stamp together, it's amazing. And as a veteran, do you kind of feel a degree of responsibility for helping the new guys settle, for building that atmosphere? Veteran. Yeah, like that. I actually didn't like that. You're West Ham's record goal scorer. You must be a veteran. To be fair, I know I'm getting up there, so those type of things. It's the first time being called it, but it's definitely not going to be the last. Yeah, but to be fair, as in being one of the veterans here and being one of the oldest players, yeah, it is quality, and I'm really enjoying it. Get to speak to young players and tell them about the experiences that we had over the last 7 years, because the amount of times we've had to fight relegation, the amount of times we've had to, it's gone down to the end of the season to whether we're staying up or not, has been a massive change. And what we're doing now, fighting for being highest possible in the league, is completely different. I've got to be careful calling you a veteran because I was just checking, and you're 4 months younger than me. So I've done myself there,
I
really.
did
If
something a
anyone,
bit, yeah.
I mean, I think you kind of mentioned just back there earlier as well that a lot of this changed when the manager came back the second time around, when David came back. Can you put your finger on what exactly it was that changed internally, like within the dressing room?
I'll say it's more down to the structure. He's kind of just put a structure around us, and from there we've kind of blossomed. He always had a certain way for us to play, and obviously he was a centre half, so he's like keeping it out of the goal. He always believed that we will score goals. And that's one thing that we've always done in the 7 years we've been here. We've always been able to score a goal. And in the times that we were struggling, it was whether we can score more goals than we conceded. So now he's shored up the back. We're doing what we do going forwards.
Yeah, I mean, on the subject of that, Pablo was talking about how easy he finds it to play with you, how he always knows where you're going to be making those runs. I guess that's something you would probably share with him. He seems like someone that's a real joy to play with, and players like Jared as well. And you've got so many attacking weapons in support of you.
Yeah, definitely. Me, Jared, Saeed, Pablo, Yarma. Like, we have so many players that can score a goal. And if they get the opportunities, they will take it. And that's exactly what we've always built on. And yeah, because we've been here for a few years with each other, we built that bond, especially me, Saeed, Jared, and Pablo anyway, because we've always been on the field together and done it so frequently. We kind of know where each other are going to be.
I mean, I was going to talk to you about your record as the top scorer at West Ham, but I was digging around. You're only 14 short of the record for the most assists as well, which I think your captain has. I mean, 12 in the last 2 seasons. How have you gone about changing your game as a striker to also facilitate and bring others in and create chances for others?
That's something I've always done, because obviously naturally being a winger, always trying to set up people and create opportunities. So I've kind of brought that game into my striking, because obviously I run channels, and from running channels, I've got to create opportunities. So as much as I want to score goals, I want to help my team win games. So that's also creating them. And that's something I naturally do. So I'll just put it down to my winning attributes, winger attributes. I'll put it down to that.
Are there any sort of assists you provided of late that really stand out?
It's just going to have to be the one against Seville.
I thought you might say that. I mean, that was a really phenomenal bit of football, that particular assist as well. I mean, how in the moment are you do you have the plan of like you're going to take it on your weaker foot and bamboozle them and just hang it? How much do you know about what's happening in that passage of play, and how much of it is just instinct?
A lot of it's instinct, to be fair, because I've got the ball and I wanted to take a shot at the edge of the box, but I got closed down from my left side, and I had to move the ball quickly from my right to my left, and then they come again, so I've moved it again, I've chopped it down the line, and then I knew Thomas, knew he'll be there, so I didn't even look up. I just held it up to the back stick, knowing Thomas would be there waiting for it, and he's headed in the back of the net.
And the other thing that happened on that night that was so phenomenal and so special was Yarmo's goal as well. And I know he'd scored one a few days earlier, but I don't want to ask you kind of to make you dwell too much on everything else that's going on with him, because I'm sure that's a really tough subject to talk about. But just what was it like to share that moment with him as a teammate, as a friend, as a human being, just to be there as he's celebrating that moment with 60,000 people, 58,000 or however many that are over the moon for him?
I feel like the goal he scored 3 days earlier was more impactful for me. The emotion of it, obviously I've come off injured in that game, and like we saw him score the goal, we started celebrating, and you saw the emotion in his face. When it's hit him, I'm inside watching it. It's also hit me. Like my eyes started welling up. I'm sat there with Cress, but Cress also came off that game as well, and he started welling up. It was just such an emotional moment, and the impact of it. It was just everything was just amazing. So I'll put it down to the more of the goal he scored against Aston Villa than the Seville game. The Seville game, the atmosphere was amazing, but the moment of Yarmolenko scoring first game back against Villa was amazing.
And it was so, I mean, I was watching that from afar on social media, and it was so suddenly sort of like you couldn't kind of quite compute what was happening, because there was these things that were going on away from the pitch that were affecting him. And suddenly, like, it all came crashing into this football context. It was, I mean, I'm sure you'd agree with me, like nothing you've ever seen on a football pitch.
No, definitely not. It was an amazing moment, and I was so happy for him at the time.
Back to yourself. Joined as a right back in 2015. What would that
People
play?
keep saying that.
Okay, go on, correct me on this.
But I didn't join as a right back. I joined as a left winger.
Okay.
But I filled in as a right back.
You're certainly right there, actually. That's very true.
Yeah. People keep saying join as a right back. I didn't join as a right back. I joined as a winger. I've always been an attacking player, but I had to fill in at right back. Where
what did you learn playing there that made you a better striker and a better forward? I suppose.
To be fair, I wouldn't say it's taught me a little bit, basically, because I know that I can't gamble. I know as an attacking player, I can gamble and a defender can't. So if I spin in behind and I run, a defender has to wait for me to make that move before he can move. I know as a right back, the right back has to tuck in to help the fullback. I can stay out wide and hold the line as much as I like. So there's certain things that has helped, but that only helps me as a winger. It wouldn't help me as a striker.
Right. Okay. That's really intriguing. I hadn't thought of that. But what I was going to say, and you rightly picked me up on it, was at that time when you joined as a winger, could you have imagined then that you would be West Ham's all-time top scorer in the Premier League?
No, I wouldn't even imagine it. I honestly didn't. I didn't know what the numbers were or anything, but I just didn't think it would have been a situation of me reaching that. But as soon as I got close to it, I was going for it.
I mean, when do you become conscious of it? Was there a moment when someone sort of pulled you to one side and said you're 10 goals away? How did that?
Yeah, so basically I got 10 goals away, and then someone said you're 10 goals away from being the all-time goals. No, I think I was 15 goals away, actually. It's the same thing as you told me about the assist now. So now I'm going for the assist.
You've got to go for it. And when you get it, I want you to let me know that this was the moment you knew.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to do such a big celebration for the assist as I did for goal, but it's definitely going to be a great achievement.
Did you have something different planned before you found that? Because I mean, if I were in your position, and I mean, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I remember this from Ian Wright. You knew that something was coming.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, did you have any idea what you were going to do to celebrate that moment?
I didn't think about it until I was 2 goals away, because when you're like, I can score 2 goals in one game. So, like, if I scored 4 in one game and I got it, then I would have been in trouble. I wouldn't have nothing. But I was like, got 2 goals away, and then I was like, yeah. I'm thinking, I was just like racking my brains, thinking of ideas. But I had those cardboard cutouts for another reason in lockdown, because obviously there was no fans. I tried to put it in the stands, and I'll have 2 of them in the stands, and I sat in between, and I would sat in the stand and applaud like with fans. But obviously the stands were red, and I wasn't allowed in it. So otherwise I would have got sent off. So that changed that. Then obviously I still had the cardboard cutouts, and yeah, that's how that idea came about.
That's fantastic. So the plan was that you would have that in your games in lockdown, Michail Antonio 1 and Michail Antonio 2 would be watching the real Michail Antonio do his thing.
Yes.
I have to say the Premier League really missed a trick there, not letting you do that.
I know.
Where are the cutouts now?
So basically I still have them. I'm going to be doing an auction on them for charity. It's just trying to sort everything out. So it's taking me some time to do it.
Oh, I bet. Also, I wouldn't be that, it's great to give them to charity. I've got to be honest, in your position, part of me would be like, I might keep them round. You never know when they'd be useful as well.
So one of them should be given away to the museum, the football museum in Manchester. and then
Amazing.
the other one should go into charity.
That's fantastic. No, I would keep one. I also, there's always a Michail Antonio in the window. No one's going to be tempted to annoy you. Just finally, and I'm running low on time. In an interview with the Times a few months back, you described yourself as a journeyman. You're now at 6 years at West Ham. At that sort of more journeyman stage, would you have thought you wanted to settle down and be at one club for 7 years? I'm intrigued as to how much you enjoy maybe moving around, trying new things, or do you kind of find yourself wanting to settle?
It is weird, to be fair. I always wanted to settle. So being here and settling in something I'm happy. But as all the way through my career, I've tried to settle. And within 2 years, I moved and I was moving. I was always out on loan and stuff like that. So being able to say I've been able to settle at West Ham, I've enjoyed back in London. I've enjoyed every minute of it at a club that I used to come watch when I was younger. It's just quality.
So obviously, I mean, I'm not sure I should ask because you're only 32. You're such a young player. I'm sure it's not come into your mind at all. But do you kind of think about, what it would mean to retire as a West Ham player as well? Because you're kind of now written into the history books in this club. I guess this must be something that would mean a lot to you to retire as a West Ham player.
100%. I've said it before. I've said that this is a club I'm looking to retire at. I've enjoyed every moment of it. I am getting up there.
No.
I'm getting up there now, but I'm definitely got a few more years left in me. So it's just hope that with the few more years I have, I can make the record that I do have be out of reach of other people and complete a lot more records while I'm here.
Perfect. Actually, I have one final question, which I think our American audience need to understand the concept of Eggyboffing, and they also will want to know when it last happened to you.
Last time it happened to me, to be fair, it's been a while. I got Eggyboffed when I was at Sheffield Wednesday, so that was nearly 10 years ago. And Eggyboffing is basically ignoring a person, a place, or a subject. So basically, if someone says Eggyboff the meeting, that means you're not allowed to go into a meeting. Eggyboff a certain person, you can't speak to that person.
And we hear this is sort of a bit of a dressing room punishment at West Ham.
It's definitely a dressing room punishment. Basically, people get Eggyboffed all the time. So if someone's last to come in, you go, Eggyboff them, do not speak to them. So they will come in, everyone likes to greet everyone in the morning. So they'll come into you and they'll walk to you and you'll be like, good morning, and you have to ignore them.
I've got to try this in our office on our virtual Slack.
It is actually quality.
Who's currently Eggyboffed, or who was the last one Eggyboffed?
To be fair, I think the last person that got Eggyboffed was Declan Rice, actually. Declan Rice was the last person who got Eggyboffed.
Knock him down a peg or two. Have you ever tried it on the manager?
No. I've suggested it a couple of times, to be fair, but the boys have crumbled. The boys have crumbled. But
let you down there.
I feel before the end of the season, it might happen.
Fantastic. I can't wait for it. That'll be great. I hope it's on the pitch. I hope you'll just ignore him while you're out on the pitch. Michail, thank you so much for your time. I've really enjoyed this. Best of luck for Lyon. And then, whether it's Frankfurt or Barcelona, can't wait.